And it says that we are live now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews on behalf of Collect All Monsters. And we're going to have a special live stream show for today, ladies and gentlemen. Before I go into my Steve Harvey and my Steve Harvey mode and do the whole hosting gig and introduce my awesome fellow co-host here, basically this discussion is a talk or conversation with fellow African American kaiju collectors and or fans. And I wanted to do this show because it is Black History Month, and I want to not only acknowledge the kaiju fans out there who are African American, but also to encourage other African American folks out there who are kind of like cautious about being a Godzilla fan or want to get into this, whatever. We want to encourage more people to be involved with this awesome hobby and this awesome genre. So also to encourage other African American folks out there who are kind of like cautious about being a Godzilla fan. When you get into this, whatever, Hey, I think somebody has that mic. I think somebody has their show on, the actual show on right now. So whoever it is, just tone it down. That way, y'all can't hear me 3 or 4 times. So who wants to hear that crap, right? No, but seriously, I want to thank everybody for being here, and hopefully you will enjoy this show. So without further ado, let me do my Steve Harvey. And give a huge shout out and introduction to mykaijus.com, one of the greatest and most talented artists in the kaiju genre I've ever known. And he's a great friend of mine. And he's also an awesome super fellow co-host on Collect All Monsters, the one and the only John Ruffin. How you doing, good sir?
All right, Leslie. I'm honored to be here today and to be with you and James and Adrian and myself. Thank you. And it's a pleasure being a co-host with you on camera. And hi to everybody, and just happy to have another day and another opportunity. And I will go. James, should I introduce?
Go for it.
You all right? Well, a lost man. All right, James, it's an honor to be here with you. But let me turn it over to you. Great to be with you today, and in Leslie's absence, hopefully return in a moment. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's great to be here with you, John, Marcellus, Adrian, and Leslie. So for those of you who do not know, I am Diego Doom, aka Mr. Absolutely Fantastic. And it'll be great to be a part of this conversation, and I'm happy to see everyone's safe, and we're gonna have a good time today. So I'll send it on to you, Marcellus, right? Or sorry, Adrian. Sorry, my bad. The rotation. I think I messed with the rotation. It's all good.
Hey, how's everybody doing today, guys? I'm really happy to be here with y'all. Thank you again for having me on the show. I'm looking forward to talking some great conversation about kaijus.
Man, I'm excited. I appreciate being on here, man, and I'm looking to have some fun, talk about these kaijus, learn some stuff. It's an honor to be here with you guys, and let's have some fun, man.
Yeah.
And once again, thank you all for being here. Let me give a huge shout out to the chat right now. Of course, we got Kyle Yow. Collect All Monsters represent. Thank you for being here, my man. David F. Dotco, Gojira 851. What's up, man? Greg Coggin, Reptile 7876, Monster Island Kaiju Reviews, Liam Foley, Tim Alton. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate you all being a part of this discussion. Once again, this is to celebrate African American collectors and kaiju fans out there. Really to embrace everybody, quite frankly. But I want to have this discussion, like I said, because in honor of Black History Month, and I want to pick their brains and how they feel about certain things involving the kaiju genre in terms of collectibles, in terms of films, and all that good stuff. Now, of course, John already knows this, but since James, you Adrian and Marcellus are kind of like the newbies in the room. I normally ask this question, and you have to answer it. You can't skate around it. Of course, John, you can go first. But the question is, what was your first ever Godzilla film that made you a fan, and what is your favorite Godzilla film that made you a fan? John, take it away.
Oh, wow. I think about this. I so think about my childhood and think about those early days. I like to relive them. So when I think about what film brought me in, it had to have been Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, era. And because I probably saw that most when I was young. Because I started seeing Godzilla at the age of 4 and 5. I won't date myself, but that's way back, 70s. So that was influential. And so that was the one that probably brought me in. I never, at the time when I was growing up, I never enjoyed seeing 1954, the original. So that was like, that's not the Godzilla I wanted. I wanted the Godzilla was the hero. So it was never that was where I always wanted to see that before anything before that. So Godzilla fighting Kong and Mothra, no, they weren't. I wasn't necessarily enthusiastic to see those. What was your second question, dude? What was the second question?
The first question was, what was your first film that made you a fan, and what is your favorite? Now I know you got two that kind of interchange, but the first question was, what was the first film that made you a fan, and right now, what is your current favorite?
Wow. Well, I have three favorites, but from three different eras. Obviously Shodai, the original Shin Godzilla, and for the late show, Godzilla versus Mechagazal in 1974. So that's absolute. I mean, and I juggled. I mean, all of them mean so much to me in different ways. One from my childhood, one because when I came back to collecting Godzilla, 1954 means so much more to me now than when I was growing up. And then Shin Godzilla is like the crown jewel for me in terms of right now and what Godzilla means to me. James.
Okay, so now I feel like I'm having like a bit of a memory loss here. I think what really kicked things off for me was Godzilla versus Megalon, but then what really, really resonated with me was Godzilla versus Mechagazal. And then from there, we just got the ball rolling. Now, the next question is the favorite of the Showa, Heisei, and Millennium era, right? Or
just your favorite overall. What's your favorite film overall?
Favorite film overall, I kind of feel like it might be Godzilla versus Biollante, and I think a big part of that is that Fire soundtrack. I mean, I thought it was really good and stuff like that. And you'll just be working and let me play a Bio Wars really quick. So it's fire for me. So, but I think that, and then I really did enjoy Shin Godzilla as well. I think it's just kind of a different, more serious, practical tone and stuff. So I thought it was really cool. And I'm kind of with John. I remember, I kicked off with, Godzilla versus Megalon and on up. And to go back and watch like Godzilla Raids again and Godzilla, the original 1954, it's kind of boring. But hey, I appreciate it now, though. But still. Nope. Well, move on to pass it, Adrian. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, oddly enough, before I saw any Godzilla movies, I saw the Hanna-Barbera cartoon when I was 4 or 5 years old. But but what actually got me going after that was probably Godzilla versus Megalon. That was probably the next film I had. That's the first film I've seen, and as well as the first film I actually had on VHS. Oddly enough, and as of now, for my favorite film, it goes in between the original 1954 Godzilla and the Return of Godzilla, or Godzilla 1985, because where I am, I love Godzilla as the villain. I always have, and I always love, and it always excites me to see Godzilla trying to fight against humanity and be that force of nature that I love him to be so much. And I guess that's from me going up with the Heisei films, but those two films to me, 54 and 84, those are my go-to films.
Man, mine's got to be the old black and white 1954. That was probably like Man, that's gonna tell my age too. But
Yeah.
I used to, I know I look 18 on here. That's that was
We probably the same age.
yo, that 1954, man. I was like, it was, everybody be outside playing football. I'm watching that
Yeah.
1954, man. They like, yo, you coming out? I'm like, we need a wide receiver. I'm like, yo, hey, 54 is on right now. You gotta give me. And wait, it was on Superhost.
Oh, wow.
1954. Hey, my favorite though, man, it gotta be Terra Mechagazilla. Because
Okay.
yo,
Yeah.
Mechagazilla was a gangster. You hear me? And it's the part I can skip through the whole movie until they get to the part where he say, Titanosaurus, Mechagazilla, destroy the mausoleum. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it right
I
there.
love that line.
Yo,
Yes.
and then that music come on and the sparkles and he hit the hand. That's it, man. Terra Mechagazilla is a beat. My wife be sitting there, she can hear the music come on in the background. She like, oh my God, let me get my pillow and go down. I'm telling you, it's a beast, man.
Old school.
What's yours, Leslie?
Of course, everybody knows. I know I'm like very vocal. I got a big mouth. I'm not afraid to say that. I have a big mouth sometimes. Everybody knows. My first ever film was, of course, Megalon. Sometimes some people give me crap because of that. Tomorrow, really, that was your first film, and you became a fan because of that? I was like, yeah, because at the time I grew up in the '80s, and I'm all about at the time G.I. Joe, Transformers, Super Friends, and so to see Godzilla, stomping like an MMA fighter and all that other mess. I was like, yeah, this is for me. This is for me.
Right.
But of course, my favorite is 1964's David Ebb. Co. I know you're gonna feel me on this. Also know, Mothra vs. Godzilla, aka Godzilla vs. the Thing. Just that movie is just perfect for me. I just, I love it. And also, you mentioned your wife, Marcellus. I want to give you a shout out to my wife, Sandra. She's in the chat right now, and that's one thing that's one thing that's so awesome about being married to a kaiju fan also, because Sandra is a kaiju fan too. And I think we're really, because I knew that she was a kaiju fan like around the time we were dating, but what really solidified it for me is after we we got the house and we were living together and stuff like that. I'm sitting around just watching, I think, the news one day on a Saturday afternoon, and all of a sudden she starts whistling this theme song to Destroy All Monsters. I was like, so I was like, you're a keeper. And then when she said she wanted to invest in S Plus figures, I was like, oh my God, we're going down. I was like, we're going to the courthouse again tomorrow, babe. Yes, we are. But now that we got basically a feel of what our favorite films are, Mothra vs. Godzilla, John is Shin 74, Biollante is James, 84 and 54 is yours, Adrian. Of course, 54 and 75 is yours, Marcellus. And speaking of film, that leads us into the first topic. Also, want to give a huge shout out to the other folks that's in chat right now. Kaiju Live, what's up? AJ Russo, what's going on? Hail me, and of course, everybody else that's here. Godzilla Lewis, once again, Sandra. Joey Chapman, thank you very much. Monster Island, Kaiju Reviews, of course, Tim Alton, Kyle Yount, David Ebb. Co. Collect All Monsters represent. Thank you very much. So that leads into the first topic I want to discuss with my co-host here, because not only are we fans and we collectors, but I think all of it really starts with the films. So we're gonna have more of a film-heavy conversation during the first half of this show, and then we're going to transition to the collectible side of things, like around the 4 o'clock mark, or the hour mark, I should say. And the first topic that I want to talk about is, of course, IGN. The gaming site or whatever. They recently put on their YouTube channel what they think is the best top 10 Godzilla films. I'm sure some may know about this, but in case you don't know, I'm going to tell you what the list is. Now, according to IGN, the top 10 Godzilla films, or top 10 best Godzilla films are number 1, 1954. Number 2, Monster Zero. Number 3, Mechagazal 1974. Number 4, Shin. Number 5, 1992. Number 6, 1991, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Number 7, Destroy All Monsters. Number 8, Final Wars. Number 9, Godzilla 2000. And number 10, Godzilla vs. Destroyer. So that is the list. So the first question is, do you agree with this list? And afterwards, after we're done, talking about whether we agree with this list or not, tell us, in your opinion, what would be the 5 best Godzilla films from your perspective. John, the floor is yours.
Well, I hate going first because there's so much to be said, and then I can't think. I don't agree with the list, but some of it I do agree with. I think 54 should always be at the top. There's no doubt about that. And I love Shin Godzilla and 74, but the films that are like, I have an appreciation for Final Wars, but that should not be in the top 10. That's just me. Like you can't leave out 64. You can't. There's so much. It's tough to when you start. You get after number 5. I mean, you start leaving out stuff that, like GMK. I mean, we got to do better. Represent. And it's tough because something's got to fall out of the top 10. That's the problem, and it's going to be something that's worthy. Gosh, 84. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know if I did a good job of rejecting that list, but yeah, it's not. It's coming up woefully short. and one thing I did want to say about the films, in terms of, it's fascinating. Godzilla vs. Megalon, how that impressed you all. That was like the first film you saw. I didn't get to see that until probably the time you saw it, because that was just not available. It was promised to be on air, and it got substituted with a Gargoyle movie. I was so upset, and I didn't see it until later in the 80s. So it's just amazing what we saw, what was the first Godzilla films we saw, left impressions, or even Godzilla Power Hour, Hanna-Barbera. It's just fascinating. So what goes in the top 10, I'd like to know who IGN, how old they were, and the type of Godzilla fan they are, and who they talk to, or what their influences were, because that will really shape your list. For some, 98 will be on that list, and that's okay. But there's some that just should not be left out of the top 10. And I don't know if I did a thorough job answering that question, but Jane and the rest, brothers, I know you all will fill it up and fix it.
Yeah, I feel like with that list, it started off okay, and then it feels like they just started slapping things in there at the end just to make a 10 list. That's what it seemed like. It's like, you like Godzilla? Yeah, I've seen a couple. Make this list. Bet, right? It's like, no. I definitely don't agree with the 92 and then, GMK at the end. It's just, it felt slapped together. But for me personally, I guess my top 5 would be, we'll pay respect to 54. But then after that, Biollante. I'm also forgetting about 84. That was a great film. And then I want to say 91. And then I'd probably say 95. I think that's 5 right there. Those will resonate with me the most. Because I feel like, sometimes like with people who aren't really into it, they don't have that love and that like really deep look into kaiju films. Like, oh, okay, a monster film. No, but there's stories here. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. So you gotta have appreciation for the genre before you make a list like that. But that's just me. But what do you think, Adrian?
I cannot do. When I saw that list, I just wanted to scream. I had to show my girlfriend that list. I was like, "Do you see this bull jive?" Don't get me wrong. When she met me, when she started getting to Godzilla, she looked at that list. She was like, "What is this? What is this?" Like, it's the top 10 list. No, it's not. Get this out of my face. So, like, of course, 54 can always be number one. I have no grudge with that, but like Final Wars being top 10, they miss me with that for sure.
Mhm.
Same thing with 92. 91, it's outside my top 10, so it's unforgivable. But the list as a whole, I couldn't do it. Because in my opinion, my top five is 54, 84, Biollante, Mothra versus Godzilla, and Terra Mechagazal. Those are the top five films I can always go back and rewatch, no matter what, no matter how many times I see it. I love those five films.
Mhm.
Marcellus, what you got?
Man, I was feeling good when he was saying that list, and then the more he went down, I started getting real woozy. Like, we need to send a Mortal Kombat team over there to take out IGN with that. Final War, finish him. Like, we just need. Like, when they said Final Wars, my stomach started turning. Nah, man, that's like slapping out everything that went before that. I mean, my top five would definitely have to be. Gotta respect 54. My second one gotta be Godzilla versus Monster Zero, and then Biollante, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah was beast. Because Godzilla came up out of there, man, like a whole different type of person. And then y'all may not like this one, but number five, Godzilla King of the Monsters, man. Where they about to go with that? That movie was something, man. I mean, I was in the theaters going crazy with that movie. I had my ticket like 2 weeks before because I don't know. It's just what they did in the last movie got to go in those top fives because the effects. I think it was more so everything that you've seen from the different eras. They took it in that one movie with the modern day special effects, and then just left you speechless on like what they can do with everything that went before it. And how they're going to pull it together now. So it's like, I can't never rule that one out because there's just no limitations on it. But to throw Final Wars in there over them show us, come on, man. Nah, I can't even see it. What you think, Leslie? And Leslie, I will put Godzilla versus the Thing in there. You know, pay respects to your Godzilla versus the Thing. That's got to be up in there too.
I thank you for doing that. Of course, that always helps. What do I think of the IGN list? Honestly, when I first saw the list, and I never forget it because it happened last week, right? Or the week before.
Right.
And I was on my lunch break.
I think last week.
Yeah, and I was on my lunch break, and normally on my lunch break, I just watch YouTube or just, or sleep, one to two. And I was like, because normally I'm not an avid follower of IGN. So when I was scrolling through, random Godzilla stuff, I came across this. I was like, oh, okay, let me just see what they're talking about. And honestly, after I watched it, the only thing that came over me was sheer amusement and laughter. And because in the beginning of the video, they said, I think somebody said, a few Godzilla super fans from IGN got together and wanted to compile a list. I'm like, super fans? Okay. All right. Well, I mean, hey, I mean, everybody's about labels nowadays. So I am fine with a few entries on that list, but as a whole, nah, I can't do it. I'm going to echo what everybody else is saying. How Final Wars made it, but yet Ghidra Threaded Monster didn't make it.
Right.
Biollante didn't make it. Even you know what? I think even Mechagazal is like a solid film.
Yeah.
It's a film that doesn't get talked about a lot, and it's a shame. But how fun and ladies and gentlemen, don't get me wrong. If you love Final Wars, then that's fine.
Right.
I want to get that out there. It's just that for me, when I think of Final Wars, I think of dumpster fire and train wreck. I mean, it's a fun film, but at the end of the day, it's like it doesn't really do anything for me personally. Now, for me, as far as like the top five, because I have a separate top 5 of my personal favorite to the 5 that I would recommend to a new fan to become a fan. Of course, what I would recommend to get people more involved is, of course, got to go with 54, because I've always said, if you want to learn more about Godzilla, you have to start at the beginning, like before he fought Megalon, before he went to outer space, before he fought Biollante, before he had a son, before he did all these things. You have to go back and watch the original. And I would say, people are probably going to think, meaning the Raymond Burr version, but I mean, no, watch the original classic Japanese version, and get submerged in the story, and just understand that before Godzilla became all these multi-layered things, at the end of the day, he was a tragic character, and a lot of Godzilla fans need to know the history and learn the history first. So that's why 54 would definitely be on that list, number 1. Number 2 probably would be Ghidra, three-headed monster. That way you're exposed to the really 4 out of the big main 5 kaiju from Toho Studios. Number 3, definitely 1974, because I think that's like the best film from the 70s in terms of style and how everything was executed. Number 4 will be Biollante, and number 5 will be GMK. Those what I would recommend to a kaiju newbie. Now, for me personally, my list is a little bit different. My personal favorite top 5. Matter of fact, I go top 10. I don't care. Top 10 for me is number 10, King Kong versus Godzilla. Number 9 is GMK. I'm sorry, Sandra.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm sleeping on the couch tonight, fellas.
Yeah, you.
Number 8 is Monster Zero. Number 7 is Biollante. Number 6, this may be a controversial one, but I love this film. Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster is number 6 for me. Number 5 is 74. Number 4 is Ghidra the Three-Headed Monster. Number 3 is Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah 91. Number 2 is Godzilla vs. Gigan. I love that movie. Number 1 is Mothra versus Godzilla. So that is my personal favorite list of my go-to films of what I want to see, when I want to pop in a Godzilla film. I do feel bad because, quite frankly, Marcellus, I'm with you on this. I feel bad that Terror Mechagazal didn't make the top 10 because I love that film too.
I love Terror.
So I feel kind of bad, but that's a good thing about these Godzilla films. They offer so much in terms of what they can offer pretty much everybody. If you want to see Godzilla as a serious metaphor, you got the original 54 as well as Shin Godzilla. You want to see him as a superhero, you got basically the 70s films. You want to see him as a straight up villain, you got 62 and 64. You want to see him as an anti-hero, you got 65. You want to see him as a father figure, you got 67 and 69. You want to see him as a menacing force of nature, you got 89, 91. He is so many different things. He is not just one character. And I think that's one of the main reasons why he has gotten so many fans over the years. So with that being said, let me transition to another subtopic involving the films. And once again, as I mentioned earlier in the prep, be very honest with this question. Be very honest, because if you say an unpopular thing in this fandom, sometimes you get targeted. So, but hopefully we can have a mature conversation about this. And I've asked this question many times before, but it's nice to ask a question to new people and get their perspective on things. But in your opinion, what is the most overrated Godzilla film? What's the one film that people tend to like, but for some reason you can't get the hype behind it? John, the floor is yours.
Leslie, you already know my answer, and I will stick with it and stick to it. And I feel bad, but it's like if you told me Destroy All Monsters was on, I'm not necessarily running to see it. It was supposed to be the end of the Showa era. It was supposed to be the last film, but it didn't reach the height that I think the 70 films, went on to do. Destroy All Monsters for me is now you said the most overrated, correct?
Yes, the most overrated.
Yeah, it's overrated.
Or like I said, the one that people tend to say. It's the greatest Godzilla film because of A, B, C, and D, but for some reason you don't get it, you don't understand it. So,
it has potential. I mean, to have 11 kaiju. I mean, the concept is great. I'm not throwing water on it. Now, this is gonna. I know it's coming because a lot of folk are gonna say Shin Godzilla is overrated. But I'm gonna leave that alone for a moment. See, you know, now there's another film I sometimes feel like it, but see, I as I'm getting older, over the last 5 years, 6 years, I mean, I just look at the movies in a different way now that I'm older, and I appreciate them in different ways. And all the Showa films always hold a place in my heart. But that one, if you were just saying it's on, I'd watch it. But it doesn't like say, come watch me, and you know, it doesn't do the job. James, how about you? What's the most overrated? Do you agree with me?
I'm with you, John. I don't really resonate well at all with Destroy All Monsters. I don't know. I remember watching it. I'm like, I don't know. I feel indifferent towards it, like Godzilla Revenge and Son of Godzilla. It's just like it didn't resonate with me. And it's just like, and there was little bouts of like anytime I see little bouts of reused footage, that instantly kind of like throws me out of the loop instantly. It's like, all right, come on, now we're cutting corners and stuff like that. So it just really didn't resonate with me. And again, it had potential, like you said, but that's really the biggest Godzilla film I feel like is overrated. I'm not gonna say I dislike it like Godzilla Revenge or anything like that, but it's just like I'm just not seeing what everybody else is seeing in that movie at all. So I don't know. I guess that's what it is. What do you think, Adrian?
James, John, I'm going down the ship with y'all. Destroy All Monsters is the most overrated Godzilla movie to me. And I thought, and just like y'all, like I thought it was just me, just like it's not that special. But like, you can go back, you can watch in Japanese and see if my opinion changed on that, because I've been doing that with a lot of Godzilla films lately. I'll go back watching Japanese and feel a little bit different. Destroy All Monsters didn't do that for me. It was still like, like I appreciate what they tried to do, but like you said, John, it didn't have the impact that the '70s films had. And for that to be the send off to the Showa era would have been extremely disappointing. Yeah, so I'm with you all. Destroy All Monsters is the most overrated film to me. Marcellus?
Man. Let me ask y'all this, though, because Diego said something about Son of Godzilla. Am I the only one that at the end of the movie went and got in the closet and cried because little Minion was sliding across that snow?
I love Son of Godzilla.
I just needed to know that because it popped in my mind. Like I went and I cried because they froze and I didn't understand it. I just thought they died. Okay, I just want to get that out.
That was pretty sad.
Yeah. I mean, I really was crying. I was in the closet.
Yeah, man.
My mama like, what's wrong? I was like, man, this little minion dude died. So I really did, man. I come out, I wipe my tears. I was like, yeah, something happened. Man, they ain't gonna like me on this one. Whew. I can't get past those little arms on that Shin Godzilla. I just
you hurt me, man.
I mean, trying to throw it out there a little bit. I can't get with that movie for nothing, man. I mean, I'm sorry. My son was like, "Hey, man, they got the new." I just can't. I can't get with that for special effects off the chain. I just can't get. When I look at the arms and the face, it's the whole dimension. I just can't get it, man. I mean, I got the concept of it. I got the whole flow of it. Somebody tell me, "Hey, man, Shin is on." I'll be like, "Hey, man, I gotta go to this restaurant and meet some. I gotta go take out." I just can't get with it, man. I don't know why. I've tried 1,000 times. And I have not made it through that movie, man. I just can't.
Wow, you haven't made it through the movie?
Man, I do. I make it through the movie by... Let me take it back, John. I make it through the movie while I'm studying, while I got the Laker game playing on my phone. I just can't. I can't get through the movie, man. I'm sorry. He said to be honest. I gotta be honest.
No.
Look at John's face.
Well, I think this is an important point that I don't want to. Can I just see? We were Leslie and I were in a conversation with some other Godzilla friends this morning about the importance of 1954 and about the meaning of Godzilla and you know, as now that I'm older, I appreciate what Godzilla was intended to mean, and that's what Godzilla just means so much to me because of personal experiences. And that's the difficult thing with rating these films. And it's like, what generation are you from? What resonates with you? And so that's what's controversial. You know, people are either love it or hate it. Shin Godzilla is one of those. It's hard to, you know, it's tough.
Yeah. Let me honestly say this.
People it's overrated.
When I watch it, it does not remind me of the films before. Like I just don't see the Godzilla I grew up on. I just being for real. I don't see him. I love seeing that old school Godzilla, or I like to see. I don't see the Godzilla I grew up on when I see that. So it's just like it's hard for me to get it. To me it's this new monster that's on the scene, this new kaiju on the scene. I just don't see it. What you think, Les?
Well, I answer this in two parts. In response to Shin Godzilla, yes, John and I and David and John Blotter Jr. and a few other folks, or a couple of folks I should say, did have a conversation on Facebook earlier about Shin Godzilla. Now, let me preface this by saying this, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoy Shin Godzilla, but it's not one of those films that I go to on a regular basis. But I enjoy Shin Godzilla for being, and I said this many times before, to be a modern day retelling of the 1954 story, which goes back to what I just said earlier about fans need to watch the original film more, like the Japanese film more. I think if you do that, you might be able to understand Shin Godzilla just a little bit. Now, I understand from a lot of people's perspectives that the design was really one of the main points that really threw some people off. You know, not to mention the fact that the film is a very, very dialogue heavy film, and quite frankly, it wasn't really meant for American fans. I think a lot of people tend to really gloss over that fact too. Right, it's more of a Japanese perspective type of film.
Yeah, good point.
And that's why I enjoy the film for being just that. And quite frankly, Shin Godzilla was made in response because Legendary film came out and the film did well. And instead of doing something that's very similar to Legendary, Shin Godzilla takes the character in the opposite direction, and I actually appreciate that. So with that being said, I don't want to see a sequel to Shin Godzilla. I think Shin Godzilla is a powerful enough film that it should stand alone. It shouldn't have more films behind it. I think it might cheapen the impact the first one did. So just leave that story alone. It's fine for what it was. It was fine as a one-off. But I can understand the arguments to both sides why Shin Godzilla is heavily favored and why Shin Godzilla is, not heavily favored because it's not the Godzilla that we're used to. But I think that's the beauty of Shin Godzilla because it is so different. Because Godzilla has been around since 1954, going on 70 years in 3 years. And you can't keep doing the same thing over and over with the character that's been around this long. You got to try new ideas. You got to go in different territories, even at the expense of alienating some of your core fans, because at the end of the day, Shin Godzilla doesn't really change the legacy that Godzilla had before the film came out, in my opinion. If anything, if you don't like Shin Godzilla, fine. You have plenty of other Godzilla films that you can latch on to. Right. But for the time being, I think Shin Godzilla was a great film for its time, or at least for the time right now. And I still say that maybe the fandom and the community wasn't ready for a film like this. Because we all used to see Godzilla fight aliens, fight other monsters, do all these wonderful things. And then Shin Godzilla came out, and some Godzilla fans were like, "Oh, okay, now, all right." So, but once again, I think that's the beauty. I think that's the beauty of Shin Godzilla, quite frankly. Now, as far as overrated. John, James, and Adrian, I'm going to jump on the bandwagon with y'all. Destroy all right. I am so sorry. Don't get me wrong. Just because we say, and I'm going on a limb and speak for John, James, and Adrian when I say this, just because we say we find it overrated doesn't mean that we're saying that we hate the film. Far from it. I'm sure we all enjoy the film. But for the film advertising what they were going to do, and the end result was two different things. It was two different things. And to me, in my opinion, I think Monster Zero did it better. And it had fewer monsters, it had fewer monster scenes. And that's why, you know, I just can't get behind, you know, Destroy All Monsters as being like one of the greatest Godzilla films, because, you know, it's just, they don't show enough monsters, in my opinion. And also at the very end, the monster fight doesn't end the story. Just that lame, you know, shoehorned in fire dragon thing, like, really closed the film. And
Right.
it's like, you know, in that film, when you look at that film, you really get the sense that they really, you know, thought that this was going to be the last Godzilla film. And the main reason why I find it overrated, and I'll ask this question to everybody in the chat: if Destroy All Monsters, and I ask my co-host here too, if Destroy All Monsters, given what we know now with the 70s, Heisei, Millennium, Monster First, if Destroy All Monsters was the last Godzilla film, knowing what we know now, would you be satisfied? Would you be satisfied?
No.
Nah.
Nope, not at all.
So that's why I find it a little bit overrated. You know, just because it has a whole bunch of monsters in it doesn't mean that, you know, that automatically equates it to being one of the greatest Godzilla films. Like I said, I think Monster Zero was a better monster film, and it had fewer monsters in it. You know, and each monster had that time to shine. But if you look and go into Destroy All Monsters and think that, oh yeah, it's going to be monster smorgasbord from beginning to end, you could come away from it disappointed, in my opinion. So maybe it's hyped up just a little bit too much, but that doesn't mean that we're trying to say that we absolutely hate the film. I think it's a good film. The score is awesome, you know, but I enjoy 72 better. I enjoy 74 better. I enjoy Terror Mechagazal better. I mean, I've enjoyed Godzilla versus Space Godzilla sometimes better. So I know that's not the most popular thing in the world to say, but that's how we feel about, you know, the overrated Godzilla films. Now, I have a few rapid fire questions before we shift over into the collectible side. As a matter of fact, you know what? Before I go into the rapid fire question, let me just ask this one question. And we kind of be brief with this so we can go into the rapid fire and then into the collectible part of things. What is the one film do you feel doesn't get enough love? Or what's the one film do you feel should get more attention than what it gets? John, go for it.
And okay, so look, I want to say something about Shin Godzilla, and this gets to it because I think it's a film that doesn't get enough attention for a number of reasons that why it's so important. A lot of our fans were not ready for Shin Godzilla, just like I would say Japan, or no one's ready for a 9.0 earthquake off the shores of a nuclear power plant, or, you know, no one was ready for 2011, and that's where what Shin Godzilla comes out of. That's the context that it's created out of. I remember the director Higuchi-san making remarks about the dealing, you know, how Japan, you know, to respond to the whole earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear meltdown at the Fukushima plant. And I was there, and think this was a week ago. There was a 7.1 earthquake again off the shore of Fukushima, and one of the reactors is leaking again. In other words, leaking. That started to leak. With that said, it'll be in 3 weeks, 10 years since it all started, and so Shin Godzilla is important, and that needs to get more attention because actually it's rooted deeply in the spirit of the original Godzilla, that, you know, 1954. It's coming out of crises and existential crises, and we need to not like. And we were saying, you know, in our conversation earlier today on Facebook, I think every generation needs a Godzilla to remind them of what Godzilla really is and represents. And because there's issues that face all of us that Godzilla actually addresses. I mean, you think about, it addresses pollution, addresses bullying. You know, every film has something in it that, you know, has a message, but it's not as loud or as plain as 54 and Shin Godzilla. And so we need to, I think, in the fandom, think about what Godzilla really means, because if we're not careful the way we look at the films, we will end up supporting the very thing Godzilla was made to be against. Or
That's
say
good.
Something, you know,
that's good.
Anti-nuclear proliferation. We turn
really
into the very thing he was created, you know, in a sense, out of. And we, you know, I mean, so I think Shin Godzilla needs to get much more attention. And I know we want entertainment with the kaiju battle, but as you get older, you think about the world and life. You know, sometimes I want a Godzilla movie that makes me think and challenges. It articulates some of the issues that I'm going through, and I think that also is what was lost on American audiences with Shin Godzilla, because when I saw it opening night in Shinjuku, I felt like, I was almost breaking down, because I was like, this is the earthquake tsunami all over again. And at the end of the movie, he's sitting over Tokyo Station, just like the radiation of Fukushima is still a factor to this day. Godzilla didn't end. What's its next form? How, they were going to have to evacuate half of Tokyo, days after the earthquake. I mean, that was the potential. So we need a Godzilla to shake us up, and we need to pay attention to those films. There's issues in GMK. I mean, Godzilla vs. Ghidorah in 1991. It's all throughout the films. Most of them, if not all of them, have issues. And I think Legendary, there's some things. What if we had a Godzilla film that was related to what's going on in Texas right now?
Mm-hmm.
Or what happened, what happened on 9/11, or it just comes out of our own, that shakes us up. Godzilla's supposed to shake us up. Okay, that's enough said. That's all I wanted to get out.
That's good.
Get a serious note.
Good.
It's actually, it's actually
That's really good.
It's actually great that you said that, John, because I think about things like that too sometimes, and how we can equate to real life problems to a certain message in a Godzilla film. Like, for example, when the whole COVID thing hit last year, and the previous administration was really not really being forthcoming with the information. To me, and this is my eyes looking at it, to me that kind of reminds me of 1984, 1985, when they knew Godzilla was out there, but they didn't want to let people know because of the panic, and it's like, so what happens if he does show up or whatever? But the citizens still had the right to know that he was back.
Right.
Just like we had the right to know that this disease and this virus was going to have the potential to do what it did instead of being misled. Yeah. So there are certain situations in real life where you can apply it to a Godzilla film, and in that respect, I know a lot of people tend to think, non-educated Godzilla fans, just casual fans, tend to think that these films are just kiddie B movie, just awful films, but these films offer a lot more than what you think, as long as you give them a fair chance. So
that's right.
So
they're made by adults, just like adults make toys. Okay, and a lot of deep thought goes into it. And we all need metaphors to help us manage the stress and challenges we have. The sit and watch monster movies from the 50s, they were all metaphors for very difficult topics in society. And to go to a movie theater, it was one thing to be entertained, but also it allowed you to play with the violence and harm that was happening around you in ways that was cathartic, that just allow you to release those pent-up frustrations, and you leave like, okay, maybe I have a better handle on, or I can think through Godzilla about issues that are facing without the complexity of, especially for children. I mean, look at Sesame Street. Look how they deal with tackle issues through puppets and Muppets. Okay, I'm done. James?
No, that's good. That's good.
I completely agree with you, John, on that point with the metaphors in the films. That could really add some more value or make them really, really more fun to watch for sure and everything. And this is kind of sidetracking. This kind of makes me think of like people, how they debate Fresh Prince versus Family Matters. I personally enjoyed Family Matters because there was always a lesson sprinkled in every single episode. Like, yeah, Fresh Prince is fun, but like, let's have something we can learn each step of the way. But
I went to school with the Fresh Prince.
Yeah. So, but as far as an underrated film, I kind of feel like Godzilla versus Gigan is a bit underrated because it's like it's kind of fun. It got fairly violent. You got the tower, you got the roach people and stuff, and it's like, and I know the talking, the scratch record talking, that got a little bit weird, but I can tolerate it because everything else kind of came together. It's pretty fun. I feel like nobody really talks about it all that much. It's fun.
It's true.
Yeah. What about you, Adrian?
Man, I like what you said about Godzilla vs. Gigan. That is an underrated film. But to me, the most underrated film, and Leslie, I'm sure you agree with this, is Godzilla vs. Megalon. Because so much about that film is just really fun. Like, not the absolute zero. Okay, I'm sorry. The black hole gun. Like, who thinks of something like that? Like, that's a very unique and different way to try and take out Godzilla. And that's actually what I like about the Millennium films. They actually tried different things to try and take Godzilla out. So, and Megaguirus, I mean, I know the fight wasn't amazing or the best fight in all the Godzilla series, but it's a fun fight. It has a fun story, a fun little revenge story as well. So to me, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus is the most underrated movie to me. What about you, Marcellus?
I gotta go with Diego on that. Godzilla versus Gigan, it's so underrated to me because that fight. If you ever notice, when I watch it a lot, and I always go about 45 minutes into the movie because that fight scene is long. That's probably one of the longest scenes where. And it's funny because you always kind of thought of Gigan as like the sidekick. So he showed up in that movie like, I ain't no sidekick. I'm the leader. I'm tearing the city up. And then his music when King Ghidorah, when Ghidra come out of them clouds and the music is different. I mean, that whole movie is so underrated. I mean, like I said, I love that the fight scene. It's probably one of the longest fight scenes in any of those movies in that era because that fight scene is nonstop. They never really cut away from that whole fight scene. It's the first time that you were seeing blood just like going everywhere.
Right.
It's just so underrated to me. I just love it because it was like one of those scenes where they never cut away. It just, I mean, you forgot that there was anybody else in the movie when it get to that last 35 minutes because they was throwing down. And then when you thought Godzilla was done, here come the laser tower. That one is so underrated. It really is. That and then I was thinking about Godzilla versus Megaguirus because that was probably one of the first Millennium movies I had seen, and I thought they did such an amazing job in that, especially the scene when he came on the shore and all hundreds of those when they was in the smaller form, the baby forms was attacking him. I thought they did an excellent job with that movie. Even from when he went to the adult Megaguirus and blew stuff out the water. That it just never gets no credit because when I saw that was like one of the first Millennium movies I saw, and that's what put me on to all the other Millennium movies was that Godzilla versus Megaguirus. And then of course when y'all was talking about lessons being learned real quickly, the Godzilla Son of Godzilla was just such a lesson because I'm such a parent. I'm big on parenting, then being in the position that I am as, pastor and stuff, I take on so many people that's like children and kids and imparting people's lives. And so what they did here's the biggest thing about Son of Godzilla. When Godzilla came on and found the son, he found him, so I always thought you never knew if he belonged to him or not. But he took on the form of a parent to somebody that we never know if that was his son or not. And so that whole scene, that whole movie, that's why I said I really did cry because then at the end, even when it was like it wasn't his accountability because we didn't know if that was his real son or not. Because where was the mama at? And so we always say, baby mama, well, here's daddy taking care of the son. And then at the very end, it was like, because I took on the accountability and responsibility to you, at this point, I'll give my life not to lose you. And so I'll never disconnect from you. So it was so much, man, in that movie. My mother and dad was married. I'm sitting there like, oh, daddy took on this child, but it has a lot. It has a lot in that as far as that story mode, man, of the parenting and then the protection. The protecting was just that was big. But yeah, Godzilla versus Gigan definitely don't get enough love that it should. What you think, Leslie?
I mentioned this film earlier when I talked about my top 10, and in my opinion, I think a lot of people need to go back to Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. I think that's a film that is so fun. And it's one of the few Godzilla films. It's one of the few Godzilla films that if you take the monsters out of the film, you still will have a great fun film, in my opinion. And of course, the fact that coming off the heels of Monster Zero and Godzilla at this point, has fought King Kong, he's fought Mothra, he's fought Rodan, he went to outer space to fight King Ghidra. On paper, Godzilla fighting a giant shrimp doesn't sound too enticing, quite frankly. But in my opinion, when you watch the film, it's really a fun film. I mean, they were able to make this ordinary giant shrimp become a credible challenger to Godzilla, which is awesome in my opinion. Then you have the Mothra cameo at the end. You got the whole time bomb element at the end. You have a great cast with the Takarada, Mizuno, and Jun Sasaki and Harada. You know, you have like a great cast. And it also proves that Godzilla doesn't necessarily need to be in Japan destroying the world or in outer space or any other places, to have an adventurous Godzilla film. He could just be on the island surrounded by all these monsters, and wherever Godzilla goes, adventure follows. So I think that, and one of those films, in my opinion, is really constantly overlooked. And when you think about the 60 films, the standout ones you think about is, of course, Destroy All Monsters, maybe Mothra vs. Godzilla, King Kong vs. Godzilla, Monster Zero, but Monsters, and also I think even Son of Godzilla gets the attention, but I think it gets the wrong attention because people hate Minions so much. But lost in the cracks, you have some, you have Sea Monster, where it's like, I'm a Godzilla film too, and from beginning to end, it's a nice film. It's a fun film to put on like on a Sunday afternoon. If you don't feel like getting too serious with the 54 or with Shin or seeing the force of nature or see him do heinous villainous stuff like in GMK. Just pop in Sea Monster. I think you have a good time with it. Sure. So with that being said, let me fire off some rapid fire questions before we go into the collectible side of things. And we're on, going on good schedule right here. Basically, just when I say the question, and everybody in chat, if you hear the question, you can definitely pop in your answer in the comment section. But basically, just give your honest answer, and let's be brief with it so we can skim through these questions. Cause I got like 15. That's because that's how I do. That's how I do. All right, here we go. First question number 1. What was the better film involving an alien race using monsters to destroy the world? Godzilla vs. Monster Zero or Godzilla vs. Mechagazal in 1974?
Mechagazilla, I say.
Mechagazilla.
Mechagazilla.
I'm going with 74. I'm so sorry, Kyle. I'm sorry. Okay. What was the better Godzilla film reboot? 1984 or Shin?
I think 84.
84.
Shin.
84.
Shin. I'll say it 4 times to balance out.
I'm going with like I said, I enjoy Shin.
Come on,
but I enjoy Shin, but between the two, I will pop in 85 or 84 more often. So I'm going with 84. All right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Which one had the better fight scene from the Showa era? King Kong and Godzilla or the Gargantuas?
The Gargantuas.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Gargantuas. Yeah, Gargantuas. That was epic.
Yeah.
That's top. Oof.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So are we all in agreement? Is it Gargantuas for all of us?
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah.
And after an hour, we finally agree on one specific thing. All right. What is your favorite kaiju from the 1970s?
Mechagazilla. It's a robot, but I mean, can I?
It don't matter.
Just Godzilla? It don't matter?
It could be Godzilla. It could be a villain, whatever. What is your favorite kaiju from the 70s?
Gyra.
No, that's 66.
Oh, you said the 60s. Oh, from the 70s. Oh, Godzilla. Gotta be
Titanosaurus.
James.
I'm stuck. That's a tough one. I think I will go with Gigan.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, that was close second.
I mean, Mechagodzilla is controlled. It's not, it doesn't have his own personality and stuff like that, but Gigan does.
Yeah.
I'm going with Mechagodzilla, but I'm going with 75 because I love his look better in 75. Yep. Okay. What is the better Heisei film? Baalante or Destroyer?
Baalante.
Yeah, I'd say Biollante too. I just like how we've got spirits, we've got science, we got a fire soundtrack. We keep saying you got the Uzi running around as well. I like that was like just everything there.
Yeah.
There's a mother in there too.
So Adrian, what you say? Biollante? Did you say Biollante?
Yep. Yeah, Biollante.
Marcellus, you too, Biollante?
Oh yeah, Biollante, definitely.
Okay. There's another thing we agree on. I'm with y'all, Biollante. What is your favorite Millennium Godzilla design?
Ooh. Wow.
I like the 03, but the absolute with the post absolute zero cannon scar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I say GMK? Or I have to say
you sure can.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say GMK too, I think.
91.
That's Heisei.
Oh yeah. If we're gonna go there, it's got before he got the scars, it's gotta be the 02.
Okay. 02. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, because I already know I'm already in the doghouse, so I'm
going
with GMK. because after I'm done with the stream here, I have to go and get food and
right.
And of course, I'm gonna talk to my wife and Sandra like, good show, babe. But you did say that GMK is like on the far end of your favorite, so go back upstairs. You know now. Oh, I love her. All right. A few more to go. What Godzilla suit do you wish had more film appearances?
Ooh. Any era?
84 for me, honestly. I'll say 84.
Any era. It don't matter.
65. 65 for me.
I'm looking over here. I'm stuck between maybe the 84 or the 93. I don't know.
Thick thighs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Thick boys in the building.
Well, I missed the question. I'm sorry. I just step away.
The question is, what Godzilla suit do you wish had more film appearances?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Across all eras?
Across all eras. It don't matter.
That's a tough one. I would love to see GMK, incarnation a few more times.
Mm-hmm.
Sandra's loving you right now, John.
It's a great design. It's a great look. I'd like to see Kong take on GMK take on. I don't leave that alone.
Let's see. For me, even though I kind of like rag on this design a lot, but at the same time, I think Adrian got dropped. But I would have loved to see the 62 have one more film appearance.
Yeah, that's a great choice. Yeah, very good.
All right. Hopefully, Adrian, if you are able to come back, please come back. Okay. Who was your favorite Godzilla tag team partner and or ally?
Angry. It's the best.
Go ahead, James.
I'd say Jet Jaguar.
Yep.
Jet Jaguar.
Because at that same time, we were getting introduced to Ultraman as well, and so I'm like, oh man, then this is pretty cool here. I thought it was a full blown crossover, but it wasn't. But still, I think Jaguar.
Yeah, Jet Jaguar. Jack Jaguar definitely with me.
For me, it's definitely Rodan. I just love the semi-antagonistic relationship between the two. He's like to me, Rodan and Godzilla represents that one co-worker at work that you can't stand, but you have to work with them to get the job done. Right. It's like we'll get the job done, but it's not like afterwards we're gonna go over to each other's houses and stuff like that. So, so I kind of like that little back and forth, one-upmanship type of relationship between Godzilla and Rodan, and I think because of that, they make a great tag team. So I'm going with Rodan here. What is your favorite non-Godzilla film, kaiju film?
Great question.
It's hard to pick just one, but I really enjoy Gamera 2.
Oh,
yeah. But at the same time, a lot of those Ultraman movies are really freaking good. A lot of them are just like, yeah. So I'll stick with Gamera 2, but let's not. I guess I'll bring up Ultraman here and there, but like, let's not forget the variety in Ultraman as well.
This is true. Yeah, I would do Gamera versus Legion. But that's the truth. Yeah, Gamera 2 was that's my outside of Godzilla. That was the best.
That's Water Gargantuous. Water Gargantuous.
Okay.
My man, Water Gargantuous.
Yeah. Water Gargantuous. Man, when I tell you that movie, that Water Gargantuous, man, that that movie was just crazy. Yeah. Top.
Now, next question. If you have one, who is your favorite Ultra Warrior? And if not, which one would you recommend to a kaiju newbie?
What was that word you said? You said Ultra?
Yeah, Ultra Warrior, Ultraman, Ultra 7, Ultraman Jack, Ultraman Leroy. You know, your favorite Ultraman.
Oh, the original. I mean, I grew up on Ultraman 66 original. Nothing. Boy, that was mesmerizing. I learned right and wrong from Ultraman.
Yeah.
And that last episode against Dayton just still messes me up to this day. I saw watching that as a child, and Ultraman just laid out like that, man, messed me up for years. But that's like, I love Ultraman. Oh man, yeah, the original. Even though I have a place for Ultraman Tiga, and but yeah, Ultra 7's awesome, but the original, nothing still can't compare to the original.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with John. That Ultraman 66 original, definitely.
Rich.
How about you, James? How about you?
Now look, I'm all about some Ultraman. I've gotten on a crazy heavy kick about it, but for me, I would say Ultra 7, because I mean, if you watch those battles, he's pretty brutal. He's slicing throats, all kinds of crazy stuff. But it's like this is what I like and stuff like that, big time. But for Ultraman, it's very hard to name, just pick just one. But if you want to go down the line. If you get into the more modern Ultras, Ultraman Geed's story was surprisingly good, and it gets kind of deep in the struggle with his father and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, this is a lot better than what I thought it'd be. And then Ultraman Mebius is very good as well. And I'm a big fan of Ultraman Jonias, the anime Ultra they kind of brought back for the absolute conspiracy and everything too. So it's hard to pick just one, but I'd say if you want to kick things off, you absolutely would never go wrong watching a Hayata, but Ultra 7, he gets pretty busy. All kinds of crazy stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
My Japanese friends like Ultra 7 more.
One thing, too, this is kind of funny to me, is like, as you're watching like the Ultra series and stuff, it's like, it's getting a little demonic over here. Is it just some of the themes? Like, what's going on? It's like, hold on, what? Is that the devil?
Right.
You guys are saying, yeah, it's crazy sometimes.
Right.
There's something profound about Ultraman. I wanted to say to Pastor Marcellus, that son of Godzilla will preach.
Yeah.
You can there's some rich theology in Tokusatsu, Godzilla and Ultraman. And I didn't. There's something special about the original Ultraman, especially when Zofi shows up.
Yes, sir.
And what that really is all about there. There's some profound.
Yeah. You got it.
Doing some thinking. I'm gonna tell you, I love it.
Yes, sir.
And then I never get
Adrian is back now. I guess you missed the question. The question was, I think you missed a couple of them. So I asked you, then we go into the one we're on now. The question we're on now is, who is your favorite Ultra Warrior? Ultra Warrior, like Ultraman, Ultra 7, Ultraman Tiga, Ultraman Beyonce, who's your favorite Ultraman?
Well, honestly, so far the only one I've seen so far is Ultraman, so I need to catch up. Actually,
okay,
it's a good time to do it.
Well, in my opinion, I'm with you, Diego or James. Ultra 7's my dude, man.
Yeah.
Ultra 7 is awesome.
Mhm.
And to me, I think you can agree with this. And for those who may not know about Ultraman and Ultra 7, Ultraman was the first Ultra Warrior, Ultra 7 was the second. To really describe the shows, look at Ultraman as like Godzilla vs. Mechagazal in 1974, lighthearted, fun, all that good stuff. But Ultra 7 is Terror Mechagodzilla, where it's darker and all that good stuff. Yeah. So that's the best I can really describe that. Let's see. All right. Now, let's see what else. Okay. Name your favorite film from each period. Showa, Heisei, Millennium. John, go.
That's tough. I'm going to have to side with 54, 84, if that's included in the Heisei era, and Shin. I left out 74 and it's killing me.
All right, James, go for it.
I would say 74, 89, and then we're going to do 03. Right? I got all three, yeah. I didn't skip anything, yeah.
All right, Adrian, go for it.
54, 84, and oddly enough, Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. I'll throw it in there. Go for it. That's cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Marcellus?
75, 91, and 02.
I love that the Kiryu films are getting some love, and you know what?
Yeah.
The truth be told, I can't get into those films either. But when I start doing these like individual deep dive discussions into the films, James, maybe you can come aboard for Tokyo SOS, and Marcel, you can come aboard for X Mechagazal, so I can see what you see. Because for right now, I kind of like skip those. But for me, my favorite from the show is, of course, Mothra vs. Godzilla. Biolantes for the Heisei. No, I take that back. No, I take it back. 91 is my favorite for the Heisei. I love 91.
You go. There you go. All right.
Yeah, I love 91 too. Man,
I know the plot has more holes than a Swiss cheese factory, but I can't help it. And of course, GMK for the Millennium. And of course, this last rapid fire question, then we're going to go into the collectible side of things. And I hate to do this to you, but we all love the Godzilla films. I know that we love the Showa films, but you see these like memes or these questions on Facebook or whatever, where they throw up a whole bunch of popular things and say, but one has to go. So between these four,
oh man.
Let me just say, I apologize to every single one of you for asking this question, but I got to keep things interesting here on the show. So, and trust me, if you pick one, you can't skate around it. It doesn't make you less of a Godzilla fan. So everybody in the chat, please chill. But once again, everybody in the chat, if you hear the question, you can pipe in your answers too. But one of these four have to go. King Kong versus Godzilla, Mothra versus Godzilla, Ghidra the Three-Headed Monster, or Monster Zero. Which of these four, one has to go? John, go for it.
You said 62, 64, 60.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Mothra versus Godzilla, Ghidra the Three-Headed Monster, and Monster Zero. One of those four have to go.
Oh,
which one?
Gosh, impossible. If it was up to me, the one I would go because I would watch it last because I just don't like the way it rolled out. King Kong versus Godzilla. Whatever.
Oh, interesting.
There's too much controversy, and I don't like it. It was a tie. King Kong.
Calm down, John. Because I know you get worked up. So trust me, I've seen you doing our collect all monsters prep, and you get really, really adamant. So calm down. We're gonna make it. James, go for it. One has to go. Which one has to go?
I'm with John. I have to say King Kong versus Godzilla. Because it's I don't know. I don't know if the film drags or anything. It's just something about, again, out of those, that resonates with me the least.
Wow.
Before you go, Adrian, these are some of the comments to that last question. I don't know if it was meant for me, but David Dopko said, "I hate you." Kyle Yao said, Kyle Yao said, "Darn you, Leslie." Some folks, Robert Dwyer said, "What's up, Robert?" He said, "King Kong vs. Godzilla is the easy choice." Oh my God! Alterrun Kaiju said, "Mothra vs. Godzilla needs to go." Okay, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. It's all good. I'm sorry, David. I'm sorry, Kyle. Please don't kick me off Collectible Monsters. This is just a question. It's just a question. All right, Adrian, go for it. One has to go. King Kong versus Godzilla, Mothra versus Godzilla, Monster Zero, or Ghidra the Three-Headed Monster. One has to go.
I'm going down with the ship again. King Kong versus Godzilla.
Wow.
Well, we're all going down together, I guess.
Marcellus, go for it, dude.
Gotta be King Kong versus Godzilla. Definitely. Godzilla versus King Kong.
So everybody's going for King Kong versus Godzilla?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Once again, I want to apologize to both Kyle Yao and David Dopko. I'm so sorry. But for me, Monster Zero has to go. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
That's like
and the show is over.
The show is over. What? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank y'all for enjoying me on Collect on Monsters, but obviously the last episode, so it was great serving you.
God.
Wow.
But I tell you why. The reason why King Kong versus Godzilla stays for me is because of the fight scene. I think the fight scene is better in King Kong versus Godzilla versus the final fight scene in Monster Zero. And plus you kind of get more kaiju action in King Kong versus Godzilla. Don't get me wrong. I love Monster Zero. I hate that it has to go, but certain sacrifice had to be made. I mean, of course, the majority of the panel, they chose King Kong versus Godzilla, and King Kong versus Godzilla is probably looked upon as probably the most popular Godzilla film in the franchise. So, but once again, it's been great serving you, John, on and look, Kyle's texting me right now. I'm just joking. Okay, all right. Now, thank you so much, everybody, for being part of the film side of this show, of this discussion. Now we're going towards the collectible side, because in addition to us being, fans of the films and fans of the kaiju and monsters and all that good stuff, we love collecting these vinyl treasures from Japan. So with that being said, the topic that I want to talk about that I advertised for the show is because all of us here are X Plus collectors. We're X Plus figure collectors, and we all know that we select a certain figure or most popular figure at the end of the year as the figure of the year. And so far for the past 7 years since we've been doing this, our Godzilla figure has pretty much won figure of the year, even though there have been solid runner-ups, for the past few years. But the Godzilla figure of himself has been coined figure of the year. 2014, the original gigantic burning Godzilla was figure of the year. The Sakai 91, the original Sakai 91 was voted 2015 figure of the year. The gigantic 62, thick thighs up there, he was voted the figure of the year 2016. 2016 saw the release of the mile-long gigantic Shin Godzilla that was voted figure of the year 2017. 2018, the 25 centimeter 1965 Godzilla. 2019, the Sakai 2002 Godzilla. And last year, I know Adrian's going to fill me on this, the 30 centimeter 1984 Yuji Sakai Godzilla was voted figure of the year. And we're going to talk about, or at least pick, between those seven, what is the best of the best. Now, before we get to that point, James wanted to bring up one topic that hopefully will help other collectors in the future. James, the floor is yours. Go for it, my friend.
Oh, yeah. One thing I just wanted to touch on when it came to collecting, I still keep seeing it pop up fairly often in these groups where people are getting ripped off and scammed, and, you know, people are still doing the, you know, I trusted them. I did PayPal friends and family, or I just did the transaction through Messenger and stuff. Guys, I know there are plenty of people who have a proven track record of selling and trading figures and stuff, but I'm still seeing a lot of people get ripped off. People will sell a figure, then they're posting it for sale in another group and stuff. Support the stores that we all promote. Awesome Collector, Flawsy's Gifts. Don't be afraid to use Zen Market and buy directly from the Rick site, or import from Ami or HLJ. There's so many resources, and it's just ask around before you buy, kind of educate yourself. And, you know, one thing too, you'll see the people, I'm looking for a figure at a reasonable price, and we all know they want something less than retail and stuff like that. So just please be careful. It's still happening and stuff. I remember, like, you know, right after Christmas, it's like, you know, people are getting scammed out of the Christmas money almost immediately. And it's like, come on, guys, we got to watch out. So just collect responsibly and just be careful. And I just keep seeing that a lot. It's like, I feel like when people give people advice on how to shop, it's like they just completely ignore that. And they have these beliefs about how PayPal converts your money to yen, or, you know, I just don't know why you don't just buy from these stores that promote themselves often in the groups. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I'm just noticing that. But guys, watch out. There's resources out there, and listen to people when they're giving you advice in collecting. Please.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very important.
Thank you, James, for sharing that. And honestly, that's something, that's advice that pertains to all collectors. Because I maintain the philosophy that, yes, there are a lot of people out there that I don't know personally, but I want to take what I've learned as a collector over the years. 'Cause I've been doing this like really hardcore for like 7 years. I know some people have been doing it even longer, but I don't mind like helping folks get whatever they want, or at least tell folks, no, wait on this, wait on that, you know, whatever. Just offer some type of advice, because at one time I was new to the game and I didn't know anything about collecting these figures, where to buy them, where's the best place to buy them. So I had to learn some, you know, from some other people along the way. And I don't mind sharing what I've learned to help the next person out. Even the times that I have sold stuff, I've always sold stuff at lesser value, or at least equal value that what I pay for. Even though, you know, these figures, you know, they're made on a limited basis, you can, you know, you can up the value on them, really. But I don't believe in that. I don't believe in doing that just to make a quick buck. I wanted to help those who, you know, in turn, just to show love to the people that are coming to this hobby every single day. And I'm really happy nowadays because, you know, we got a new Kong film, Godzilla Kong film coming up. You got Shin Ultraman. As I mentioned during the prep, fellas, we're in a kaiju boom. Like, there are so many great kaiju things, or kaiju properties, or TV shows or movies that are coming out, you know, celebrating giant monsters. And if you don't like the new stuff, it still brings attention to the old stuff. So it means nothing but great things to the kaiju fans and to the kaiju community and the kaiju collectible community also. So I want to thank you, James, for coming out with that with that advice, and thank you for doing what you do on your shows, when you have your shows, when you have your live streams and your Twitch and your Twitch shows, and you offer great advice, and you're trying to look out for the next guy, which I think is something that we all be doing, quite frankly. And it's something that we're also pushing on Collect on Monsters as well, where we're starting, you know, to give out more information on where you can get this stuff, you know, get the best bang for your buck. At the end of the day, it's all about really helping each other, because, you know, we're all in this together. You know, we're all in this together. Because, you know, it's really our time now because of the new movie coming out, even though the Snyder fans are getting kind of upset right now, but that's another story. But you know, whether you are excited about Godzilla vs. Kong or whatever, you know, it means nothing but great things for the hobby and for the people involved. And it's unfortunate that also G-Fest has been canceled, but at the same time, we know between this show, what James Diego Doom does, what we do on Collect on Monsters, what Marcellus does with his awesome photographs, mykaiju.com, Adrian, what he does on his show and on his other show, Monsters with Attitude. We're going to come together and bring you the best content moving forward to try and take your mind off of things. And this is, I guess I say all that to say this is a great community. I am proud to be a kaiju fan. I'm proud to be an African American kaiju fan. And I invite others to come aboard with us. We would love to have you. One
quick side note, Machine Dragon's Lair made a good comment. Avoid Nippon Yaisen. That place used to be great. I don't know what's happened to them as of late. You'll order something, they will either not ship it out or they'll keep asking you for more money on the shipping, saying they underestimate or undervalue the size of the product. So avoid them at all costs. They used to be great, but not anymore. There's plenty of horror stories about that place because they have a lot of great, if you collect your 6-inch scale figures, a lot of like Thomas Webb exclusives there. But there are other avenues for that. Don't use them. That's something that's my brought that's extremely important. I see a lot of people seem to somehow stumble across that website quite frequently, and then, is this a good place? Absolutely not. Go with who we know, who's been verified for sure.
Right. And also, I want to give a huge shout out. He's in the chat right now, and I give him so much love, but it doesn't hurt to give more love on top of it. I want to give a huge shout out to AJ Russo from Kaiju Live. He has an awesome YouTube show going down almost every Sunday, where he auctions off, certain figures that he has acquired. And we be in the chat, cutting it up, talking. I'll be in there, starting trouble because that's what I do, unfortunately. but he's also building his store. He's getting more products. He's on, he's on the up and up. He's on the come up. And so please support Kaiju Live, AJ Russo, Frank Russo, Kelly Russo, everybody over there. And like I said, check them out pretty much almost every Sunday night, like around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Such an awesome show. And not to mention, support Collectible Monsters that comes to you every month. And we are not slowing down. We got so many ideas of not only the main shows we give you, side shows that we're going to be doing. Like, spoiler alert, me and John are going to do like a side show where we compare my X plus gigantic Shin Godzilla up against his Kyoto gigantic Shin Godzilla. I have the M164 kit. I'm going to compare that with David Ebb.co's KOC 64 that he just got. Kyle, David, and myself, we're going to do a Rodan collectible side discussion. We have so much stuff planned for the next year. Not to mention Kaiju Con line maybe coming back. So there's so much to look forward to. So hopefully we keep you entertained for the foreseeable future. And let me just say this: it's been an hour and 27 minutes. I have had a blast talking with you guys. You guys are awesome. I want to make this more like a yearly thing for Black History Month, but man, I would mind having y'all back even more so, because this has been like an awesome discussion. Thank y'all so much. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie.
Appreciate you.
Now, let's go to the topic at hand about what we think is the best figure of the year amongst the figure of the year. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, like I said earlier, the ones that have made, or at least that have one figure of the year, is as follows: 2014, the original gigantic Burning Godzilla; 2015, the original Sakai 91, the Hokkaido landing version; 2016 was the original gigantic 1962 Godzilla; 2017, the original gigantic Shin Godzilla; 2018, the 25 centimeter 1965 Godzilla; 2019, the Sakai 2002, and last year, the Yuji Sakai 30 centimeter 1984. So, in your opinion, start with you, John. In your opinion, what is the best figure out of all those? What is the best of the best? The floor is yours.
Wow. This is a tough one. There's two that come from Sakai, and I'm going to go with the 91. Yep. 84 is right there, but I'm going to go back, and that's a great figure. James?
All right.
Yep.
James?
I would say I'm going to have to go with the Sakai 84. And I'm looking at it right now because I got them right here along with the 02. But I just kind of feel like maybe I'm biased. I feel like when I look at this, I get those nostalgic memories of watching the VHS for some reason, just the way the face is. And it's like, if you compare this to the original 84, the original 84 looks kind of crazy, kind of tripped out there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just really, all the Sakai models seem to hit it, right on the head. But this one really, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it so much. And of course,
Yeah,
it looks rigged,
beautiful.
but it's not. This is just the standard. But those dorsal fins look amazing.
Right.
They do.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Sakai
Great
84.
choice.
All right, Adrian, you're up first. I mean, you're up next. Excuse me. What is the best of the best?
I actually have two answers. My first answer is going to be about what I actually have in my collection. And as far as I have almost every Yeezy Sakai release. But for me, it's the 84 by Slight Edge. 91 was the king for a while, as y'all all know. But as far as Sakai, but the 1984 last year just knocked out the park. But as far as the figure of the year of all time, it's something I'm still chasing, still my holy grail, probably the gigantic Shin Godzilla. Just even seeing that in pictures and videos, it looks absolutely perfect, and I cannot wait to find it. But I'm glad to say the gigantic Shin Godzilla.
Awesome, good choice.
We're going to help you, man. If I see one for a good price, and that is highly debatable, I will. I mean, because quite frankly, the tail alone is like $500 to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, but you never know. You never know. S Plus always gets around to reissuing figures, and of course, the Shin train ain't stopping anytime soon. So it's only a matter of time before they reissue him again. So hopefully we can help you get your hands on one. We'll be on the lookout for you. Marcellus, go for it.
Oh man, when I was thinking about this, I kept thinking about the suit at first. Because I know how hard, when I came in, I was trying to find that 65. And that 65 suit is I just love it, right? And every time I found something, because, I'm kind of still young to it, so I was just buying figures. And I'm always asking, it's almost like whatever Leslie had, I was trying to find it, which is impossible. And so I saw the 91. 91, it was like that thing that you just had to have. So I was just... I mean, I was on top of the world when I got to 91. Man, and then when that 02 hit, it's the pose. The pose is like, what? Who you gonna make after me? Like, it's the pose. And the 02 is just, that's the figure to me. Like it was, I had to get out of my mind the suit, the 65 suit, but the figure, that 02, the way once I got it and saw the way they made it, the detail in that, the pose, the face, I mean down to the nails. That 02 is just, I love it. I love those. And what James said about the 84, because I wasn't that crazy about the old 84. And then when I seen the Sakai, he right, I have the standard. And the standard with those fins and stuff, I mean, they did an amazing job sculpting that thing. I mean, that thing was amazing. But then when I put it to that 02, that 02 just got that little edge because of the way they did that thing, man. But I would say the 02. I would say the 02. What's yours, Leslie? I think I kind of feel where he gonna go.
It's gonna be a gigantic. It's gonna be a gigantic. Don't get me wrong. I love every single figure that made figure of the year. Even though I so wanted, I ain't gonna lie, I so wanted Mechagazal to win last year.
Yes,
I really did.
Yeah.
And I so wanted the gigantic 89 to win to the 2019.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. The people spoke, and it is what it is. The 84 won hands down. It wasn't like a landslide victory. It came down to like maybe a few votes, because I did the voting, or at least I did the polling, I should say. And there's no shame in losing to the 84, because it is a top-notch piece. Now, with that being said, the one I think is the best of the best, quite frankly, it's this guy, the gigantic burning Godzilla.
I knew it. Yeah.
I got that guy back in 2014, and which is going on what 7 years, and
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and out of all the figures in my room, it's the one that commands the most attention. It's like when I bring people up here, whether it's like my grandkids that haven't seen my room or whatever, or just people, because rarely people come to my house, even more so now because of COVID. But when I did bring people up here, they will always flock to this one. They will always say, "What's the story behind this one?" And I would tell them. Of course, it would go right over their head, but they love this sheer look of the burning Godzilla. And even though it's somewhat stylized, and I know the head sculpt isn't a favorite of AJ Russo, that's another story. But to me, this is a showpiece. This is like, just even after all this time, after me having it, when you have a sea of gray of Godzilla in my room, the gold of King Ghidra, the brown of Kong, this one right here, this one is the truth. This is the burning truth. Period. End of story.
That's good. That's dope. Burning truth.
It's the burning truth. So
yeah, the 95 was my first gigantic as well, and so I remember sitting there waiting at the door almost the entire day for it to be delivered. Crack it open, and the vinyl smell and all that stuff like that. And I have it way up here behind me, but that's another attention grabber. You guys can probably see behind me the Ultra 7, the gigantic Ultra 7 that's behind me to my this side. It also grabs attention as well. It looks like a small child is standing on the shelf for some reason.
And it's awesome. And it's awesome because going back to Sandra now, I said the story a few times before, but when I bought this for her as a birthday gift when it first came out. As a matter of fact, she actually got hers before I got mine that year, and I think it was like the first Godzilla figure that I ever bought for her. And because she really wanted the GMK first. She wanted the gigantic GMK, but at that point, trying to find him was trying to find, whatever. But
a lost ark or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So mind you, let me just say this: trying to smuggle something this big into a house is not easy, ladies and gentlemen. It's not easy at all. So, because I had it in my car, and now, mind you, we know about the gigantic series boxes; they big, right? And sometimes my wife would take my car to go to the store or whatever, and so one morning, it was a Sunday morning, as a matter of fact, and she was like, "Look, I gotta go to the store. I gotta get something." To make something, whatever. I was like, fine, no, whatever. And the store ain't but like a mile away. So I know I didn't have much time to really go and get it. So as soon as she, drove out the driveway, I'm in the daggone curtains peeking to make sure that she's gone. And I go outside and I'm peeking around, whatever. And I get the box and I unbox it, whatever. And I grab it and I take it inside. I'm like, okay, how am I going to present it to her? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I put it in our bed and I put some covers over it because we haven't made the bed up yet. I was like, babe, she walked back in. She's like, babe, I got something for you. She's like, what did you get? Like, what is it? And I'm like, it's for you. And she pulled back the covers. She saw the burning Godzilla and she actually was so happy. She was ecstatic. She went running through the house. She was like, I got it. Thank you.
That's sweet.
So I was like, once again, that was a great moment because it happened not too long after she started whistling the Destroy All Monsters thing I told you about earlier. And so when I got this for her, and then she made it very clear to me that she wanted to be more involved in the collecting community and get figures of her own, then that made me even more ecstatic because she has her own personal collection downstairs. Mine is up here. But once again, as I've always said many times before, the one thing better than being a Godzilla Kaiju fan and or collector is being married to one. So all you spouses out there, give it a chance. Give it a chance. You may like it. You may enjoy it. So with that being said, that's pretty much it with the discussion part of the part of discussion. I do have a few rapid fire questions involving that. And it's mostly X Plus related. So once again, just say whatever that comes to your mind or whatever. Now, the first question is this, and this is more recent now. So whether you have the figures or not, just say what do you think is the better figure. What was the better X Plus figure release? Megalon or the Favorite Sculptors line Rodan?
Ooh.
I'm still laughing at
Megalon.
The child on the.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at my. He's really standing out back here.
I know it's stuck in my head.
Yeah,
Look like that
Megalon.
little boy back there. I have them both, and I'll say this: I didn't appreciate the Rodan as much until you did your review, and the review was amazing. I love Megalon, and here's the funniest thing: I love Megalon, but when I looked at the review and then I really paid attention more to the Rodan, I like the Rodan, and that's tough for me to say that one. It is. That one's tough for me to say, but the Rodan was really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, I love the
John?
Megalon. It's a tough choice. I would go with Megalon, but the Rodan is right there. But I just wanted a 30 centimeter Megalon. I think they hit it right on the nail on the head with it.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
How about you?
But this
James?
was such a surprise.
I'm rocking with the Megalon all day.
Yeah.
Now, one thing though, I wish the mouth. I wish it was more intended for the mouth to open up, because there's some sculpting that some people miss. Because I saw that one post in the X Plus group that he has sculpting inside his mouth. I wish they would have made these. They don't have to be on a hinge. Maybe like you could kind of pull them out or something. But this is super impressive. Then it's like you've got the Gigan to go with them, the Jet Jaguar. So now we just need our proper Godzilla, and we should be fine. But this was really well done, and also too, the tight compound pattern under the eyes is extremely impressive on this figure. I don't know if you guys can speak right there, but like it was really. I'm like, whoa, this is good. And of course, smells good too. So shout out to Rich Piso, right? This one, I don't know. This one has not lost his vinyl smell at all.
Right, mine haven't either. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we just need a good 73 to go along. They got to get that right.
Yeah.
Tough. 73, 74. It's tough to sculpt.
How about you, Adrian?
I might have to say Megalon too. The Rodan does look nice, but I actually, as much as it hurt me to do it, I had to skip on it to get Megalon. So I'm gonna have to say Megalon.
Good choice.
Yeah, I'm going with Megalon too. Megalon, ooh boy, and that's the thing. The fact that they got the guy who sculpted the KOC 64 I talked about from David, they got him to do the sculpt of Megalon, and so if they're doing that and giving us these great sculpts from these great sculpt builders or sculptors, I think that's a great thing. And Megalon, even though it's not from one of the most popular Godzilla films, it was still my first, so I'm never going to bash it. But that figure really exceeded all my expectations, and it makes me look forward to what's coming down the pipeline, which we'll talk about in a few seconds. All right. Which is the better figure between these two? The 25 centimeter Gigan 72 or the 30 centimeter Gigan 1972?
Ooh,
25.
25.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 25, the paint app on there is beautiful. So I'm gonna say 25 too.
Yeah.
It's a pose, everything.
Yeah.
The 30 leans back just a little too relaxed, for me.
Yeah.
I just say you lay you back.
25. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's a little
right.
All I have is the 30, and I figure bigger is better, but that 25 does look nice, and I agree with what John said, because he does have that lean.
Yeah, sick lean.
I'm with you on that. I think the 25 centimeter is better and is more suit accurate. I just don't like Gigan with his. I mean, I know he does it in the film where his gut is sticking out. I mean, but
I know you was gonna say that.
The 25 centimeter looks like he's ready to attack, and the 30 centimeter looks like he just got finished guzzling like a bottle of beer. I just, and he's short, because when you get Megalon and you put him up against Gigan, it's like, no, that's not right. That's not right.
Oh,
so,
God. I had to talk about that in my review. That was horrible.
I mean, it's a good figure. The 30 centimeter Gigan is a good figure, but in terms of in my opinion, in terms of the better sculpt or better figure, I think the 25 is better. Now, we're going towards the Gigantics now. Which Gigantic is better? Shin or the 2019?
Oh, Shin, hands down.
Oh, John, I knew that. I knew that.
I feel like I gotta apologize to John because he educated me on that shit. No, you really did. No, because I never, bro. Real talk. The way you compared it to the 54, I never looked at it like that. So I can appreciate that when you were saying it because I'm a learner. I love to learn. So when you was breaking that down, I was like, wow, that make a lot of sense now because I was looking at it in the wrong concept. So yeah, that was good. But I still gonna have to say the 19 because that's the one I got. The 2019. Yo, when that thing came to my house, man, because it was my first Gigantic. Man, when my wife came in, was like, "What is that?" I was like, "Oh man, it's a TV show on." She's like, "No, what's that right there?" I mean, that's the guy. What's that right there? Man, what is that you wearing?
That's awesome.
Oh God!
How about you, James?
I would say the Shin. I don't have either one. I was gonna get the Shin, and then Hobby Search hit me with that $1,000 invoice. No, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know about this. I felt guilty. I was expecting it to be like the 95, like we're going to spend like $600 or $700, like $1,000, and the shipping was like $200 or $300. I was like, I can't justify it. So I passed on it and stuff like that. But I would love to have it, but then I'm not. It wouldn't kill me not to have it though, because I'm pretty happy with my 30 centimeter Sakai Shin Godzilla. That's a very nice piece.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Cool. How about you, Adrian?
Yeah, Shin. I had to say Shin. Oh, something about the pose on the 2019. I can't get get into it. So I got to say Shin.
I love that pose.
Yeah, I'm with y'all on that one. I'm with Chin. Nothing against the 2019. It is a great figure. To me, I think the 25 centimeter is better in terms of scope, but it's a great figure nonetheless. And commands a lot of real estate, obviously. But I think the Shin is like in a class by itself, in my opinion. Let's stay with the Gigantics. And I've asked this question before, but once again, new people here, new perspectives. What was the better Heisei Gigantic? 95 or 89?
89.
I just got to 89 3 days ago, and I can't stop looking at it. I put it into my head. When it came, I had those little circles on my eyes, like that thing, man. That 89 is killing it.
Yeah,
I'm riding with the 95.
California. Okay, yeah. 95 is awesome. No.
How about you, Adrian?
89. This is my second favorite suit. I have to go with 89.
Yeah, I even though I was speaking buckets about the 95 earlier, which I did, and I still feel this way. I love the 89 just a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
Yeah. I got my hands on one, man. That thing.
Yeah. All right. What was the better King Ghidra figure? 1964 or 1968?
64.
Yeah, 64.
Yeah, 64 for sure.
Yeah.
I don't have either one. I think the 64. I'll go with 64 as well.
Marcellus, what you say? 64?
64. Yeah, I love that 64.
Once again, the landslide, full agreement. I'm with y'all. 1964. Yes. Now, two more questions about that, and then we'll move on to just a little bit of Godzilla vs. Kong, just a little bit before we close out the show, because we got like maybe 15, 20 more minutes to go. All right. Excuse me. Sorry. Whew. Whatever. All right. Man, I just lost my train of thought. God almighty. Okay, I got it. Okay. If you were G, or if you were the president of X Plus, no matter what the scale, no matter what the design or whatever, what is the one monster that you would make happen tomorrow? John, go.
Non-Godzilla?
It doesn't matter.
Or
it doesn't matter.
I want a perfect gigantic Godzilla 1974.
Yes. Yes.
That's my just the ultimate justice Godzilla, and the 75 too. But one of the other, to go with that Mechagazal, I just want one perfect though. It's got to be just spot on.
How about you, James?
Let me get a gigantic, and I wouldn't mind it being stylized slightly. Let me get a gigantic Gamera 2. Let me get a 96.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
Maybe a Nightmare Gamera, maybe some kind of blend there. Let me get that.
That'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm. And
That would be amazing.
oh no, we might be asking for too much for having a light up feature for the chest opening up or something like that.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Let's get that in maybe a damaged mini Legion or something like that, right? As a Rick.
Yeah. How about you, Adrian?
I'm gonna stay on the gigantic train, and I'm gonna say gigantic Cybot 84 Godzilla.
Yes.
You got it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Cybot, please, somewhere soon.
That Cybot is beautiful. I love the Cybot. I need that in the gigantic for sure.
I'm with you on that 100%.
How about you, Marcellus?
Man, if a gigantic 1965 walked down these steps right now,
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
you would hear the music going. Like, in that pose that they got the 25, if they made that into a 30, a gigantic, more detailed, that would be killer.
That would
be me.
That would be nice.
Let's see. For me, Sandra, I hope you're still watching, babe. But for me, if it was up to me, I'm staying with the gigantics here. I want a gigantic, suit accurate GMK Godzilla. That's what I want.
Oh, that would be phenomenal.
That's what I want.
Phenomenal.
All right. Now, the last question is basically, what do you have on pre-order that you're most looking forward to add in your collection that you know is coming this year? John, go.
Woo.
Oh, man. Could I just say, as a Rick, I want the Godzilla Tower. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just a Rick extra. Okay. What the... Oh, man. I'm not probably the offer. Because that's what I have on pre-order. But there's other things that I'm trying to get that I really want that I'm hoping to win. I'm hoping to get. But I can't say anything because someone else could steal it from me.
What do you got? Say it loud.
How about you, James? Go for it, dude.
I am super excited for the large monster series Gridman, right? I went straight Rick with that. As soon as I saw him, that just, yanked my nostalgia nerve heavy. And, I like the, SSS Gridman. That's cool and all and stuff. But, just seeing that just got me instantly. Let me just jump on this real quick. Went right to Zen Market. Can we verify you can get it? Yeah, absolutely. Paid it. We're ready for it. So that one really just jumped out to me big time. Mm-hmm.
All right, Adrian, what about you?
Let me go and get that 92 Mothra real quick. As much as the film is looked down upon, I still love that design of Mothra, so I'm super excited for that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Marcellus, what about you, buddy?
Is pre-order? Do it got to be Godzilla?
It could be anything that you have on pre-order.
I kind of had two, but I had one and didn't want to hit. Man, I'm a big fan of Beast from 20,000 Phantoms.
Oh,
yeah.
It's between. It was between that and that 1 million years. What is it to 1 million years to Earth with Ymir? Those sculpts, but that Beast from 20,000 Phantoms. When I saw that, man, I lost my mind. I found it like a couple weeks ago, but when I saw that one and when they made the Ymir, those killed it for me. But then when I was out of town, and I was out of town in the revival, and I when I got back into the vehicle coming home, I saw that whole Spiral Studios King Ghidorah, and I was like, yo, you know, so I'm hitting up everybody. Yo, y'all mean I missed it? How did I ain't missed the rapture? How did I miss this? Like, I'm hitting everybody. I'm like, yo, everybody on this group should be on punishment. Nobody let me know this. And so I caught one at the end, man. So that just kind of topped it. I'm like making space for that thing to come. But it's between that one and that Beast from 20,000 Phantoms, man. You know, that the way they did that from the color to the black and white. I ordered the colored Rick one, and that thing is amazing, man. I can't wait to see that, especially the way they put it in the pose. Yeah. I got to. What you got, Les?
I am in firm agreement with you. The Spiral Studios, King Ghidra, looking forward to that. I don't know much about Spiral Studios. Really, the only reason why I got behind it because AJ Russo from Kaiju Live was really into it. He said, really look at this company, and he and I are great friends, and my wife and I have purchased figures from him before, so I looked to him. I trust him. I was like, okay, cool, fine. I'm not getting Godzilla, but I am getting King Ghidra. So out of all everything that I have on pre-order, I'm definitely looking forward to the Spiral Studios. King Ghidra. Don't know where the heck he's going to go, but but I'll figure that out once the time comes. Now, our last topic that we're going to talk about just for a little bit before we get up out of here, and then that'll be it. It's, of course, there's a certain film coming out, a certain rematch coming out. You may have heard of it. If you haven't, then I don't know where the heck you've been for the past month or so. But yes, we're finally here. We're basically in the last month and some change before the epic rematch between King Kong and Godzilla with legendaries Godzilla versus Kong. Now, of course, here on the panel and in the group, we ain't got to go back and forth about who we think is going to win, whatever. Because I don't want the conversation to degenerate. Because there's plenty of time to do that, right? But I want to get y'all perspective. Like, what are you most looking forward to in regards to this film? Whether it's the film itself, do you think it will bring out more MonsterVerse films? Do you see Toho doing something? The collectibles, like whatever you want to talk about for a brief period. So, what are you most looking forward to in regards to this film? And are you super excited for it? John, go.
I just wanted to. I forgot. I have the Ultraman High Alpha Beta capsule on pre-order, so I'm looking forward to that. But okay, Godzilla vs. Kong. Look, I never enjoy watching the original only because I don't like to see Godzilla get hurt, by Kong or anything like that. So I was like, with this movie coming, I'm like, I don't know, especially when it's with Kong getting that shot in on Godzilla. But then when I saw in the trailer, potential Mechagazal, what appears to be a Mechagazal, that changed the way I felt about the film, about the movie. And I'm like, okay, this could be what, brings them together, and so I feel better, like, okay, this might work out a little differently. So I'm looking forward to Mechagodzilla. I don't care if they don't make him look, well or anything. I just think that could be a nice, I want to see where that goes. I'm excited about the film.
James, go for it, man.
Yep. One quick thing I kind of wanted to plug just to finish up the collecting segment, because I noticed I feel like this figure line people aren't hip to just yet. But guys, don't forget about the Kaiju Remix series line. They've been putting out a lot of nice figures. Now they haven't done anything Godzilla related, but they do have a Dunk Godzilla 84 kit, but who knows that'll ever turn into anything. But if there's anything an alternative X Plus, these are really nice. The Metron, I've got the Bimular, the Gamora. Don't sleep on these. These are really good. But when it comes to Godzilla versus King Kong, I'm looking forward to it. I really hope we get a very nice, long, drug out fight between the two before we have to face another adversary, if that even happens. But something I'm kind of terrified of is I don't want to see another trailer because, I've noticed this with a lot of movies. They start spoiling too much. So
the whole movie.
I'm fine with that one trailer. I'm going to avoid everything else because, they normally do maybe one or two more trailers for a movie's finally released. But I want to see a nice fight. I don't need to see people run around here crying about their family issues or anything like that. Let's use them as a way to push or explain what's going on. Let's get a nice, good. Matter of fact, let's get a good fight between Godzilla and Kong by themselves, and a very nice, dramatic fight with whoever they may team up against. Maybe they don't. I hope maybe they did something to mislead us or something like that. And I'm really looking forward to it and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens.
Adrian, go for it, dude.
I guess it's just the old school kaiju fan to me, but I just want to see Godzilla and King Kong fight again. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. I'm looking forward to them throwing down modern technology. I'm just waiting for them to fight again. And yeah, I guess Mechagazal may or may not be in it. They're gonna team up. I was afraid that was gonna happen, but whatever. I'll get past it, I guess. As long as the fight between Godzilla and King Kong is awesome, I'm happy with the movie. I don't care what else. Right. I don't care about anything else. As long as Godzilla and King Kong throw down the way they're supposed to, forget the. I don't care about the rest of the movie after that.
You definitely, even though they teamed up, Kong really got worked over there. Let's not forget that. Let's not act like they didn't happen.
You got lucky.
I'm not feeling like one of them.
He slid that in there.
You lucky he's here because it's about to be a wrap.
Man, I was so excited about that movie.
I can't defend it. I can't defend that.
Right.
I can't defend that. I really can't. Go ahead, Marcellus. I'm sorry.
Man, listen, I'm so excited about that movie, right? When the trailer dropped, church was going on. They're like, we're past that. The cutaway clip was me in the back like this. Pastors, come on. I'm like, yo, give me about 2 more minutes and 31 seconds. Listen, the real talk though, I got the whole King Kong Godzilla fight. I think my biggest thing is at the end of Skull Island, movie killed it. The part that made me lose my mind was the cutaway when they showed Godzilla and everybody was coming at the end of the credits. I was like, wow! I was going crazy. I like those wild scenes where what they can do with this, how they can incorporate all the different movies and they hit in the trailer, but then expose them in the movie. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see, Mechagazal showing up as Godzilla, how much damage he's going to do before they find out that. And then who else? You might get, once Mechagazal come on the scene, at the end of the movie, they might clip away Titanosaurus coming up in there. I just think it's no limits from the modern day, taking all of those and then just blowing our mind with how they're going to keep adding in and building into that. That's what I'm excited about, because it's the movie just, so the foundation is going to be Godzilla vs. King Kong, but what else, what other movies they're going to be sliding in there throughout that movie and then everything to come. That's what's got me. I'm crazy excited about it. I mean, I got a whole, we taking, it's a holiday on that day, man. It's I told the people at the church, I said, listen, y'all got to get a ticket because it's going to play at 12 o'clock. It's going to play at 2:30, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Like, it's I'm excited for real. But that's the biggest thing. I'm excited for what they'll be able to do through that movie and keep going on with it. It's going to be crazy.
Well, as everybody knows, it's no secret, I am super excited for this film, despite who I'm going for. But as a whole, I am really excited about this film. This is the one film that I've been waiting for God knows how long. I've been wanting to see another film involving King Kong squaring off against Godzilla, and for some odd reason or another, they couldn't get it together because of the whole rights issues involving Kong and stuff like that. They tried to a couple times, but nothing did materialize. Sorry if I butchered that word, but they finally were able to get everything together to put all the ducks in a row, and now we're finally get the rematch of all rematches, and I could not be even happier because I'm a fan of both Godzilla and King Kong. I love them both. So I'm looking forward to it. I kind of feel like John, where I don't want to see one defeat the other, even though I'm pro Kong, but at the end of the day, I don't want to see Godzilla lose either. And
Right.
but I think the beauty about this film is that we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, of course, trailers can show you a few things, but trailers don't always tell you the full story.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's so many questions about what they have teasing thus far that I'm looking forward to getting the answers. Like, why is Godzilla going crazy? If that's even him, why is he even evil?
Right.
People are always saying, Godzilla and Kong is going to team up against Mechagazal, but what if they do a switcheroo and Godzilla is the ultimate bad guy and Kong and Mechagazal team up to take out Godzilla?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
that would be horrible, but that's possible.
I mean,
that would be.
but if Godzilla is presented as a big enough threat where Kong can't take him down alone, and he may need Mechagodzilla to fight him, my whole point is like, we don't know what's going on, we don't know what they're going to do, and I think that is the beauty of it, and the fact that there are so many fans, even outside of the community. There are so many fans, casual fans, that are really hype about this film. Even family members that know I love Godzilla, even they call me up that I haven't heard for God knows how long. Say, hey, Leslie, guess what? King Kong's gonna fight Godzilla again. I was like, really? Really? I didn't know that. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, yeah. He said, yeah. I just saw I just saw an awesome trailer, and I can't wait to see that thing. God Almighty. And of course, they weren't reacting that way to the previous Godzilla film, which is fine or whatever. But the fact that a lot of people are really gaining interest into this film and want to see what happens, like I mentioned earlier, it means nothing but great things for the kaiju community, not to mention, the collectibles that are going to come out because of this. If this film does really well in terms of box office or just in terms of, what it may get back in terms of people viewing it, they may continue the MonsterVerse. They may, it means nothing but great things, not to mention what Toho may do in response to this, whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I just want to see a great film involving Godzilla vs. Kong, because it's not every day that they get an opportunity to make a film involving King Kong and Godzilla. And I hope they make the most of this opportunity, because if it doesn't do well, it may be another 60 or 75 years before we get another Godzilla versus Kong movie. And by then, we'll be all gone by then. So I hope they make the most of this opportunity. And based on the reaction and feedback from people thus far, people seem to be hyped about it. They are loving it. They're going crazy for it. Like I said, even non-Godzilla fans are going crazy for it. So for me, that puts a smile on my face being a kaiju fan, knowing that these outside people are like going crazy, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, but I've been known they were awesome. Yeah, I've been known.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Like you just now figuring out that that Godzilla is awesome. Duh, he's been awesome. Duh.
Like you all said, it's extremely exciting to even think about what Toho may do next. To answer to this. I know they're involved with stuff like that, but how I feel like they'd be more inclined to push further with a new Godzilla film or something like that, and keep going. Hopefully they do. Hopefully, you guys want to talk about you guys got a moment to talk about the Godzilla Singular Point and the anime series really for a brief moment, or
Go for it.
I was not a fan of the 3 Godzilla anime movies they had on Netflix. Those first one. Interesting story, but something was missing in the center of all that made me not care about the time we got to the end. Didn't care for the second one. Didn't even watch the third one. It looked like Godzilla was fighting Garland, like Christmas Garland at the end. I'm like, I'm not. Yeah, it looked really. The Ghidorah looked crazy. So then with this Godzilla Singular Point that's coming out, it's interesting, but it looks like something that's fun. I would like some a Godzilla anime. We've got Attack on Titan vibes where it's very serious. What's going on here? We're in the face of a disaster, but I don't know. It's exciting to see what's next. Like you said, it seems like the year of the kaiju boom. But keep making some quality content. I don't know. What do you guys think about that stuff? Or
I'm looking forward to it. I think it will be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I like the feel of it. I love the Jet Jaguar concept, and just fun. It just brings that 70s fun back a little bit, and takes me back. Like when I was growing up, I would love to have seen that. Like Godzilla Power Hour or whatever. Let me have some fun, and it may get probably be serious as well. But I like the feel of it. I like the tone.
How about you, Adrian?
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it too. It doesn't look like more towards the kid side, but I mean, look at the short era. Like, come on, it should be fine. I'm really excited. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to show it to my son. Hopefully he enjoys it and hopefully gets more into Godzilla than he already is in now watching that series. And hopefully it opens more doors and opportunities to make more Godzilla animes. Because like you said, James, the trilogy, Jesus Christ. Oh,
all right, yeah,
God.
that's crazy.
And I'm optimistic about the fourth film. I was like, yeah, like you said, it was missing something, but I was like, okay, I'll give the second film a chance only because I'm a Godzilla fan. And Jesus Christ, let's not talk about that. So hopefully with Godzilla's singular point, this will springboard more Godzilla content and other kaiju content in the future. And heavens knows, I always wanted a before human being Godzilla movie, like Godzilla during the dinosaur age, or just Godzilla on Monster Island fighting other monsters the entire show. I've always wanted something like that. So hopefully this will like, hey, let's try and see if that will work in the near future. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most with the new anime, seeing what else is gonna bring out from it.
How about you, Marcellus?
I got to get caught up on it, man. I haven't had time to check it out yet.
I'd say don't waste your time on the anime trilogy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
It's like, you'll be like, oh man, it's like, oh, I don't waste the time here. Gonna get irritated over that. Can't get time back. It's like, whoa.
Yeah,
that makes me think like sauce. But that makes me think of when we went and saw this movie called It Comes at Night.
My God!
I thought it was gonna be a zombie movie, and I'm like, okay, we paid $40 in here. I'm like, what is this?
That movie was garbage.
And that's the first time I've been upset going to the movie theater in a very long time. I really feel like I've been ripped off.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now, as far as me and the anime, I'm not really a big anime fan. I mean, I know of anime, but I'm not really a big anime fan. But I will say that it's nice to see like this new anime giving love to past characters that have been overlooked, like Jet Jaguar, Gabra. If that's it, hopefully that's Titanosaur. So it's nice that they're doing that. Once again, I may not be in a rush to see it, but I know I will probably definitely see it more than the original anime trilogy or the anime version of Godzilla. But once again, it just goes back to my original point that it means nothing but great things because you never know what's going to happen. But I think, a Godzilla vs. Kong has a lot to do with why there is such a resurgence, no pun intended, of people loving kaiju now and getting on board and blah blah blah. So it means nothing but great things. Like Adrian said, it may mean more Godzilla films. A Godzilla film in prehistoric time would be cool. I would mind them doing like a period piece, like a continuation of the 70s films. There's so much stuff they can do, and I think we are in for a fun ride. Now, with that being said, I would love to keep these guys longer, but of course, it is past the 2 hour and 15 mark, and we're going to shut this show down. I want to thank every single one of you, one of you people.
Thank you,
in the chat that came in, had some fun, created some comments, and created some conversation. Thank you to every single one of you for making this, this show a success. Want to thank Mechagazal.com, my fellow co-host on Collectible Marcellus. I love you, man. John Ruffin, thank you so much, dude.
Yeah. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Of course, Diego Doom, James Hale. This is our first time that we actually collaborated, man. I'm so happy that you were able to come aboard, and hopefully we can collaborate some more stuff. Hopefully we can get together since we're fellow North Carolinians. Hopefully we can get together once all this COVID restrictions get lifted up.
Absolutely.
You definitely come up here, hang up in the Mount Island Man Cave. I go down there to Charlotte, or you're in Charlotte, right?
Yep.
Right. So we go down there and just hang out or whatever. So thank you for coming aboard, and I really appreciate it. All right, and of course, Adrian Settle, what's going on, man? Godzilla Train 1090. Of course, he has his own YouTube channel, Godzilla Train 1090. Of course, he's part of the Monsters We're Added To show or podcast. Please check him out. Thank you so much for coming aboard, dude. We do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Leslie.
And of course, last and certainly but not least, Marcellus Winters.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you for being a great supporter, because each time I have a show on Collectible Monsters or here or whenever I post something, you're always one of the first ones to say something positive. So thank you so much for being a great supporter and just a great person, because you kind of exploded onto the scene. It's like every single day this dude is posting a box day. I'm like, dude, what do you do for a living? I'm like, good God Almighty! Like, I haven't seen that like that in a while. Like last person I've seen do something like that was Phil the Kaiju King. We had like a box day like every other day or every day. But Marcellus is like, it's like every time I wake up and I turn on Facebook, it's like Marcellus Winters box day, box day, box day, box day. Box day. But you know what? You're investing in something that you love. You're not bothering anybody, and that's the best thing in the world. So thank you so much. I really do
thank you, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Definitely.
And once again, I did this, just to celebrate Black History Month. Of course, we are all African American kaiju fans and collectors, and hopefully this will inspire other folks to get on board the kaiju train. We would love to have you. You can find all of us on Facebook if you have any questions or anything like that, or you can find us here on YouTube on our respective platforms, whatever. And we want to thank you so much. Really had a good time. Like I said, I would love to have y'all back at some point, whether it's like, collectible discussion, deep dives, or whatever. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, you have not seen the last of these awesome, fine gentlemen here on Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews. Do y'all have any individual parting words before we sign off here? John?
Oh, just thank you. Thank you. Wonderful time to all of you. I appreciate you all. It's been a pleasure.
James?
Yep. Thank you all. I had a great time here. And also, if you guys want to follow me, youtube.com/Diego Doom. And if you want to follow me on Twitch, where we play Street Fighter V, I'm a competitive Street Fighter V player. We have a great time over on Twitch. It is twitch.tv Diego Doom OTR. Some people, I said it was stands for Otaku Review, but most people say it stands for Off the Rack. I don't know where that came from. So twitch.tv/Diego Doom Off the Rack. We have a really great, more mature time over there on Twitch. We definitely have a great time over there, but had a great time here. Great panel. Follow everybody. And yeah.
Could you do your catchphrase?
Right? and absolutely fantastic.
Woo!
I wish I had air horns and stuff like that going. Yeah.
All right, Adrian. Any final words, my man?
Yeah, thank you everybody for hanging in with us for this almost 2.5-hour show. I really appreciate it. Of course, if you haven't yet, subscribe to my YouTube, Godzilla Chain 1090, and also we just started Monsters of Attitude YouTube channel. So just look up Monsters of Attitude and join us on there as well. And if you like, join us on Kaiju Collectors on Facebook. But again, thank you everybody.
Marcellus, you up next, buddy.
Man, I just appreciate y'all, man. It's just sitting here watching y'all and being able to be on here with you. I've arrived, man. I'm just, I'm on here with Leslie Chambers and James and John. No, it's an honor, man. It really is. The whole X Plus thing is, being in ministry for all the years I've been in it. It's been the most wonderful ride for this last year, man. When I tell you, it's so therapeutic to me. It's such an outlet. My wife enjoys the joy that it brings to me. That's why I have a gigantic diorama, because I come down. If you ever watch me, my live streams when I'm preaching, I actually preach from my X Plus figures a lot of times because I get so many concepts. I get so much revelation from my figures. There's almost never a time that I'm not preaching and I don't bring up a revelation that I've gotten with my X Plus figures, because it's been amazing. But I truly thank you guys. It's really, truly an honor to be on here with you guys, and I just love it. I love it. Appreciate you guys, man.
And once again, thank you to everybody in the chat. David Dopko, Kyle Young, my beautiful wife Sandra, Marcine Sanders, Jose M. Okay, Helmy, Liam Foley, Kaiju Live, AJ Russo, Greg Betters, Wise, Carla, Barzilla, just so many people. Like, this is like the biggest turnout I ever had for a show. So thank you for doing that for me. Really appreciate it. Of course, our next episode of Collect All Monsters is going down in a few weeks from now. I think the second weekend in March. As far as personal reviews, I still got stuff to do on Let's Chambers Kaiju reviews. I'm probably going to do the 25 centimeter and Death for Real Space Godzilla as a double review. That should be coming up real soon. Not to mention the deep dive discussion I'm going to do involving each individual film. The next one I'm going to do is devote to GMK. So you'll see my wife, you see Kyle Yan up here. When I do 1974, you're going to see John back up here. When I do Biollante, hopefully James will come back for that one. When I do Terror Mechagazilla, you can see Marcellus up here. And of course, when I do 1984 or 1985, you're going to see Adrian up here. So once again, you have not seen the last of these awesome folks. And between my show, mykaiju.com, Diego Doom, Marcellus Winters, Godzilla Train 1090, Monster with Attitude, Collect All Monsters, Kaiju Live, everybody out here in this awesome genre, this awesome community, we will definitely hold you down for the rest of the year of 2021. And that is it for the show. And as I always say, we thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. And we will see y'all again on the next Figure and Move review. And also, happy Black History Month. Yes. Thank you, guys. We out of here. Yeah, it says I ended the broadcast. Yes, it did.